I'm doing Someone Like You by Adele. I heard that you're settled down, that you found a girl and you're married now. I heard that your dreams came true. Guess she gave you things I didn't give you. Oh, friend, why you so shy? Ain't like you to hold back or to hide from the light. I hate to turn up out of the blue uninvited, but I couldn't stay away, I couldn't fight. I hope to see your face and that you'll be reminded that for me, this isn't over. Never mind, I'll find someone like you. I wish nothing but the best for you too. Don't forget me, I beg. I remember you say sometimes it lasts in love and sometimes it hurts instead. Sometimes it lasts in love, but sometimes it hurts to stay.